Hey everyone, today we're going to look at how to install Jellyfin on a Synology NAS. So Jellyfin is pretty much a media server, and the best comparison for it would be Plex. So a lot of people love Plex, a lot of people run Plex on their Synology NAS as well, but Jellyfin gives you a few options that Plex doesn't. And when I say doesn't, I really mean out of the box. So Plex has a ton that you could do. I use it, I love it, I have no problems with it. But you have to pay for a lot of it. So they have their Plex Pass. If you don't want to buy the Plex Pass, you have to pay for their mobile app just so that you can stream some of your content. If you don't, it's limited in duration. Jellyfin is kind of the opposite of that. So it's an open source media server. All the bells and whistles that come for the paid features of Plex are free with Jellyfin. And that's what makes it such a great alternative to Plex, because Plex is so mature at this point. It just kind of works. It does everything that you want it to do. But a lot of those features that it has are behind pay gates, and not everybody wants to pay for stuff like that. So I've been using Jellyfin for a few weeks, and I actually really like it. I even like their mobile app better than Plex's. I paid for Plex's a while ago because I couldn't stream any of my music without paying for it. And I started to use Jellyfin, and it's great. I really have to say, it's a somewhat new project, but it's a lot better than I thought that it would be right out of the gate. So we're going to look at how to install this on your Synology NAS. And by the end of this, you'll hopefully be able to configure it the way you like, test it out, and determine for yourself what you'd like to do. So before we get started with the tutorial, I just wanted to let you know that there are written instructions in the description that will guide you through this whole process. So naturally, almost everything that we go through today is going to be compared back to Plex. And the reason for that is because Plex is in the Synology Package Center. So it's part of the operating system for the most part. It is a third-party app, but it's so easy to set up since it's part of the Package Center. You just go into the Package Center, install it, and you're kind of good. Jellyfin's not like that. So Jellyfin, you have to install Docker, and this runs in a Docker container. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to ensure that you have Docker installed. And as soon as you do that, you're going to go into the registry and you're going to search for Jellyfin. Download that, double click it to download, and then as soon as it finishes downloading, in the image section, you can double click it to launch the installation process of this container. So give it a name and then go into the advanced settings, and you're going to check off the enable auto restart. And this just says that every time the Synology NAS is turned on, automatically start this container. So the volume section is the only curveball with this setup. The setup process is very straightforward, but the volume section is the only curveball. And the reason for that is because the media files themselves have to exist on the NAS. So for whatever reason, I was researching it, and Jellyfin doesn't really allow you to connect to network shares, and maybe I just misunderstood that, but for whatever reason, that's what I found. So normally with most Docker containers on Synologies, you have to map config folders and stuff like that. You don't have to do any of that for Jellyfin. What you have to map is you have to map your media folders. So depending on how you have your media on your NAS, and this is going to be different for everybody, that's how you have to map the folder. So what I mean by that is if you have one folder and one shared folder, and if it's called media, for example, and inside of that media folder, you have a folder for movies, you have a folder for TV shows, you have a folder for music, etc. All you have to do is map that top level folder. So you're going to map only that media folder. Now, if you have it split up, meaning that you have a different shared folder for your movies, you have one for movies, you have one for TV shows, you have one for music, you have to map them all individually. And what you're doing is you're just mapping the folder from your NAS where all of your media is stored to a mount path that you'll be able to access from Jellyfin at a later step. So I don't think the name matters. It just has to be something that's not in use. So for example, if you're using media, you could use /media as the mount path. If you're using TV shows, you could use /TV_shows, /movies, etc. But you have to map this based on your media and how it's stored on your NAS itself. So this is going to be different for everybody. For me, I just split it up so that I have one folder for movies and I have one folder for TV shows. But unfortunately, for everybody, this is going to be different. So hopefully I did a good enough job of explaining that. If I didn't, leave a comment and I'll do my best to try and clarify that. I also have in the written instructions pretty much everything I just said summed up, and it might be a little easier to understand in text. So there's that option as well. As soon as you finish adding the volumes, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the network section and you're going to check off the box that says use the same network as Docker host. And this is just saying that we're going to be accessing Jellyfin using our NAS's IP address. As far as the setup process goes, that's it. So you can apply that, it'll create the container, and then the next thing that you need to do is if you are using Synology's firewall, you have to create a firewall allow rule for port 8096. So this is the default Jellyfin port, and that's what we're going to be navigating to. So you need to ensure that you have an allow rule so that you can actually access that. So once that's done, open up a web browser, navigate to your NAS's IP address and port 8096, and you should be brought to the landing page of Jellyfin. You can then proceed through the settings. You can define a username and a password that you'd like to connect to Jellyfin with. And then at the next section, this is where you're going to have to add those media folders. So you have to select a content type, and it's pretty self-explanatory: movies, TV shows, music, etc. Give it a display name. If you want to change it, you're free to do that. And then in that folders section, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to navigate to that folder that you mounted earlier. So for example, if you are importing your movies, if you want to import your movies, you select the movies content type, and then in that folder section, you're going to navigate to the folder where your movies are. You're going to have to do this for everything, every different type of content that you have. So your movies, your music, your TV shows, etc. Once you add all of them, you can proceed to the next step, which is just going to ask you about the metadata languages. And then the next step is going to ask you to configure remote access. So if you want to configure remote access, you're free to do it. The only suggestion that I have is that you do not do it using UPnP. So they give you the option here, and this is just a blanket statement for pretty much everything. UPnP automatically opens ports on your router, assuming that you have a router that is compatible with UPnP. But the reason it's a problem is because you could be opening ports and you're not even aware that you're opening ports. It's in general a security risk. So it's not something that you want to do. If you do want to expose Jellyfin and it's something that you want to navigate from outside of your network, you're free to open ports on your router. You're free to use a VPN and not open any ports on your router so that you can access your content from outside of your network. But I just recommend at this step that you don't use UPnP. You can then move on to the next step, and then you'll be able to finish the setup process, and it's going to ask you to log in. Now, as soon as you log in, it's going to bring you to the main Jellyfin page. At this point, the album art, the movie art, everything is going to start to crawl in. You can then go to the settings and you can modify this as you'd like. So I'm not going to go through all of these settings. Just know that they're here. You can set up different users. There's a bunch that you could do in here. And if you're looking for something in specific, this is most likely where you're going to find it. So go through these settings, configure it the way you'd like. So there are a few notes that I want to make, and they're really in comparison of Jellyfin and Plex. And I'm doing it this way because the majority of people are probably already on Plex. If you have a media library, it's just kind of the default that everybody goes to. So in order for you to switch to Jellyfin, you kind of have to know what the benefits are of switching. And we kind of went over them a little earlier, but I'm going to tell you some of the things I liked about Jellyfin, some of the issues that I ran into, and then you could hopefully make a more informed decision. So when I initially installed Plex, my media library was not very different than it is on Jellyfin right now. Plex took probably around a few hours to actually crawl all of the metadata in and have the album covers and the movie covers and all the names and everything like that. Jellyfin, for whatever reason, has taken forever. So I'm talking like 24, 48 hours later, it's still crawling some of that data in. That is a huge difference. That's probably not a big deal in the long run, but in the short term, you launch Jellyfin and you're just kind of brought to a bunch of blank tiles. So depending on how large your media library is, I know there are people out there that have, dozens and dozens of terabytes of media. It could literally take you like a week or two to crawl all of that information in, assuming your library is that big. For me, it wasn't that bad, but I really don't have that large of a media library, so I didn't expect it to take as long as it took. So that was the first thing. The second thing is that Jellyfin did not recognize some of the file names that I had that Plex did. And that might just be a setting where I have to add a new metadata provider or something like that. But I'm comparing stock versus stock, Plex versus Jellyfin, and Plex out of the box is and still has categorized some of my movies correctly, and Jellyfin was not able to do that. So that's something that you might run into. The next thing that I want to point out, and I mentioned this earlier, but I really, really like that all of the paid features in Plex are free with Jellyfin. So it doesn't sound like a big deal, but when I first got my NAS, I set up Plex, I added my entire music library, and I was so excited to be able to stream my music from my NAS outside of my network. And I downloaded the Plex app, and I was able to stream 30-second clips. And I was like, well, this doesn't do anything for me. So I had to go and I had to buy the app. And then I was debating, well, should I just buy the Plex Pass? And I know that I'm not the only person that has run into that. Jellyfin, when you just set it up and you install it, and then you install the app on your phone, it just works. You can stream your music, you could stream your videos. Everything just works as you would expect it to work. It's so nice to know that you don't have any barriers. So those are a few of the things that I noticed comparing Plex and Jellyfin. I really like Jellyfin. I'm going to continue to use it. I haven't run into any issues yet other than the slow syncing times, like I said a little earlier. But I really hope that they continue to improve it, and I'm hoping that one day there is a third-party app for Jellyfin in the Synology Package Center, because I think that would appease a lot more of the more casual users, because you can't really debate that Plex is a lot easier to set up on a Synology NAS than Jellyfin is, unfortunately. But one day, hopefully it's not. So that wraps up the tutorial for today. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys.